Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it.
Truck it on.
Doctors, roll out. You're watching or listening to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. We the people, the People's Patriot Project.
Looking for a place to put your skill set, your thoughts, and ideas, or want to help continue the mission? You have come to the right place. We are the People's Patriot Project, and we are the shock and awe when it comes to meeting the needs of our veterans and first responders. We are dealing with a new enemy in today's world where the wounds are not always seen. We want you to be a part of this mission in saving lives and making a difference. Welcome to We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. Here's the WeP3 Team bringing you today's best heroes hits in the boots on the ground organizations that are saving lives. And as always, Patriot Pride.
Left, your left, hey. Left, right, your left. You got it.
Truck it on.
Good evening. It's Andrea Eichmann here with the People's Patriot Project. We are here every week for you at 6 o'clock Central Time on Sunday evenings. We're bringing you our weekly show tonight. So listen, we call this, We Got Your 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime. The Playtime, really, this is where we started having fun. We worked our butts off this weekend, but I got to tell you, it's fun. There's always fun. There's seriousness, there's tears, there's triumph, but there's always fun wrapped into these things as well. This show is going to bring a conversation with Shawn Alderman. He's going to talk about his projects at the Magnus Foundation. And we are also joined by Kim Pitcher. She was at our event with us yesterday. She's an amazing soul, you guys, with an incredible voice and songwriting talent. She's going to share with us about music and about life. So before we get started with these guests, we ask if you could please take off your hats, stand if you can, and join us with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Here we are.
Get ready to rock and roll and
Shock it all.
Okay, I have this intro written down, you guys. I hate saying the same thing every week. So then I try to change it, and then I lose my place. And then I say the national anthem instead of the Pledge of Allegiance. It's very nerve-wracking. Very nerve-wracking. I'm just kidding.
You do an amazing job. The A-bomb in the house.
The A-bomb. She'll melt your face. Did you just notice that? Did you just notice that? I've been getting texts.
Oh my gosh, you had it there the whole time. No, I'm
the
actually
whole time.
practicing my lines. I'm not reading.
Well, Shawn, it is amazing having you here, brother. We've been in network for a good couple of years now, but we finally got you here. Thank you so much for being here tonight. And I would be remiss if I didn't make sure I showed
There it
part
is.
Part of the club.
He's
Are you coining me right now, Mark?
It just happened.
Sure, because I know you're good for a beer.
Look at that. See?
That was very preemptive, Mark. There
There
you go.
There it is. Well, I was telling Dan before the show started, I said, you know what? I'm not going to let him do them to me, so I'm going to make sure it's sitting right here. I have this box, and it's it's pride. I'm going to tell you what, it is pride, but it is full of coins that I carry with me everywhere because I don't know when it's going to happen. And when we do our events and stuff, people walk up every once in a while, hey, you got my coin? And, it's kind of hard. It's a little bit hard to carry this one in your pocket. So it's like, hey, brother, size does matter. I don't know.
Is that Texas Fallen, that great big one?
No, that big one is Feed the Heroes Foundation.
Oh, I thought Texas everything was bigger, but
sorry, I didn't mean to go off stage, but this is the kind of stuff you need, right? It's a bottle opener and everything.
I know.
Yeah.
We're getting fancy.
That is the Swiss Army coin. That is
I don't know if
Leatherman.
you guys have ever noticed, but if you look right here, we'll get to it. Oh, right here's Fozzie Bear.
Oh, yeah.
And right here's Baby Monster or whatever, Baby Wow, whatever his name is. What's
Animal.
Animal, yeah, Baby Animal. And we'll get to that here in a little bit, but they've been in the studio the entire time. They were gifted to me by Shawn. Shawn, I want to apologize. You do such an amazing job out at the Magnus Veteran Foundation, and we didn't prep the show really good, and that's not your fault. It's our fault, and I don't want to upstage you with the amazing event we had this week, but we're going to be talking about our event too. So.
Yeah, no, it sounds like you should upstage me because it sounds like an incredible event. I'm sorry I couldn't be there. As I told you, I had to go to the memorial ceremony this weekend, but I would have been there. I was there in spirit for sure, and I will be there in years to come. But
I believe you. You got an event coming up too here soon too, and we'll get to that as well.
But he's got a question.
I want to know, how do I get a name like A-Bomb? I mean, my last name's Alderman.
I don't know if you should ask.
You're not allowed to pick your own nickname,
It's your call name.
We had that discussion. We sat around the table. You got to be careful how you get named because it sticks. And guess what, A-Bomb? It stuck.
Well done, A-Bomb.
It's hanging around. It's hanging around. So, and I'm sure we'll find some call names for each of us at some other point. I don't want the call name dumbass if we can.
No. Sometimes otherwise I just use Jack. Hey, Jack. His name's Mark.
Right.
Yeah, he goes by Jack today.
Yeah,
It's
I
gonna be
appreciate
Jack.
that. I appreciate and I don't want to forget our lovely, amazing at our event. I would call her first responder. She's a VA nurse. Miss Kim Pritchard here, who's with us tonight to sing one of her originals for us. She was here this weekend with us, and just an amazing talent, amazing heart. Here's the deal. I'm going to take time, and I can't tell you, I wish you could have controlled the amount of smoke you had around your house, Dan, because the smoke inhalation caught me a couple times where even during lives, I was having a hard time getting the words out. And so I was it was in my eyes.
Peterson. That's why his aunt loved you, because your voice. cracked all the time. And I'm like, Pearson, take a deep breath. Take a deep breath. You're okay.
Well, let's be specific. The smoke was from a big rotisserie smoker, first of all.
From Holyfield.
So that's what was affecting Mark.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yes.
I got the first chance to speak last night, and I was looking across the hundreds of people that came just to make sure the voices of our veterans and first responders get a chance to be heard. And it's more than their voice. It's the action of serving. And it's amazing the awesome tools that the People's Patriot Project is giving people, we the people, the chance to give back to those who've already served. And again, we'll get to the Magnus Veterans Foundation here in a minute, but it's such a close parallel. They do things a little different than we do, and we do things, and that's why this is a perfect match. And they've been blessed. I love watching the success that they have around every corner, and we'll talk about those as well too. Andrea, can you share our news this week?
Yes, I can. Thank you. So really, we've been so busy on the show that there's been some things that we've missed. So I'm going to make sure and not miss all of those things next year. Goodness gracious, they're on the calendar, but we've been so excited. So we're closing out. The awareness for August is anti-terrorism, World Anti-Terrorism Month, but we're closing that out and we're bringing in September, which National Service Dog Month. Boom. So that, and it is back to school, which I put an exclamation point because it's kind of exciting, but you know that we have to go back to work. So, so there is that. We got August 29th. So tomorrow is the Marine Corps Reserve birthday. The mission of the Marine Corps Reserve is to augment and reinforce active Marine forces in times of war, national emergency, or contingency operations, and provide personnel and operational tempo relief for the active forces in peacetime, and then provide service to the community. Toys for Tots. I just moved my classroom, and I had one of those Toys for Tots Marine Corps stickers on my door. I don't think I have one on my new room, but it's around Christmas time. So those are the kinds of things that they do. My dog's not a service dog, but he's here with his head in my lap. I think he missed me, and I like that. I don't like that he missed me, but I like that he missed me. So you guys love up your service dogs. Yeah, awesome. We got Labor Day coming up. You know, around the States, we're going to be, I love it because it's usually a fun day because it's the end of the summer. But it's also like, when I was growing up, this was the day like the garage got cleaned out and swept and sprayed down. So we labored a little bit on Labor Day. I got to throw this in here because my daughter is due on the 4th. And so I pray to God it's her Labor Day, maybe even before that. So anyway, it's her first baby. We'll see how it goes. I have a little news from the world of law enforcement. Actually a couple of things. We're looking at 2024 for the electric police prepped Chevy Blazer pursuit vehicle, which, you know, I've seen a lot of memes. What happens when your electric cars, you know, get into the flooding waters or get into the cold in North Dakota? But these are going to be set up. They can log at least 290 miles before they even need to be plugged in. So thank you, Chevy Blazers. And then this is big news, and we're not going to debate this. I think there's a lot of interesting facets to it. 2 parts. Florida's governor has a proposal that would allow retired officers to become teachers. Thank you, Ron DeSantis. I think I had some people question me on this last weekend. It's like any other field. Some people are going to be really good, and some people might not be really good. And so as long as there's some, you know, checking of the curve on that. And that includes former officers, firefighters, and EMTs to fill in the gaps in their classrooms. There's a lot of shortages around the country in the teacher world. So honestly, it'll be helpful. Another piece of news that a town in Iowa, Spirit Lake or Okoboji, they're right by each other. I read it wrong at first. I thought I read the headline. They're allowing teachers to carry. They allowed 12. The school board set up for 12 of their staff, but not teachers to carry. That's the real headline. As a carrier, and one of our teachers is our handgun recertification guy, that debate comes up all the time. And I think the hardest part, or the part that keeps it out of teachers' hands, is what do you do when it's one of your students? Because that's a dicey, emotional piece where I don't know what you do. That's what circular discussion. So there's a few things in the world of first responders.
Geez, Eichmann. It seems like you're trying to serve some kind of agenda over there. I don't know what you're doing.
Dude, I had to catch up on my news.
All I know is,
no.
as a beat police officer, I drive about 320 miles a night on the average. So
Right. To be
is that
charging in
time
between.
for a lunch break? I don't know. I guess we'll see what happens.
There's going to have to be a whole new level of like training, because you can only let your vehicle go. This isn't going to be cheaper, because they're going to have backup vehicles for every single vehicle that is out there on the road. And I need to go. Well, no, got to go back to the clubhouse.
Is that a difference though? Like if you're a city police, like what's the radius in New York City that one officer, besides for some chases and follows and whatever, but like what's there?
Precincts.
Yeah. So it might work in bigger cities.
December bike patrol is no fun. That's all I know. Here anyway.
Mr. Alderman, it is an absolute pleasure to have you here, brother.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it, Mark.
You are the founder, the CEO of Magnus Veterans Foundation. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. Yes, I am. Oh, do you want to know more? I'm sorry. Yes, I am.
Yes.
And I'm sorry, Mark. I haven't met Kim before, but did you say Kim was a VA nurse?
Yes, she is.
Awesome. Hey, thanks, Kim. Appreciate what you're doing.
Oh, it's my honor to serve them. Believe me, it's amazing.
I know how tough it is being down in the trenches right now, and thank you.
So let me retract my question real quick, because your question to Kim is viable to this conversation.
Right.
And why are you thanking her for being a nurse?
Yeah, because it takes a village, it takes a community, it takes a tribe to do what we're doing, and that's kind of what Magnus is all about. The entire community galvanizing around, taking care of for us our veterans and their families, because Kim can't do it alone, I can't do it alone. All of us can't do it alone. It takes everybody rowing in the same direction. And, you can think back to World War II, when we sent primarily our boys off to war, and the ladies came out, Rosie the Riveter and all that. I mean, the whole country was galvanized against war. And ever since that time, we've kind of downstepped. And, now we have just 1% of our population that essentially volunteers to go off to war and to protect us, and we, the 99%, the rest of us, need to recognize that and be wrapping our arms around these folks and doing what we need to do to heal them, restore them, and get them back to where they need to be. They're never going to be the same, that's for sure.
Mm-mm.
But getting back to their, and I'm not going to use the new normal. God, I'm never going to use that COVID. But to their new awesomeness. That's where we need to get back to.
I love it.
And
so there's a piece. And what's your day job? I mean, you got this amazing foundation, but what's your day job?
Yeah, so I work for Fairview and Rogers. I'm a family medicine doctor. Kind of a weird, long, convoluted pathway to being a doctor. But I enlisted in '88 in the Airborne Infantry, and awesome, man. Guitars. I love it. There's guitars everywhere. But yeah, I enlisted in '88 as an airborne infantryman, and went to Ranger School shortly thereafter, followed by Special Forces Assessment Selection, and spent the rest of my enlisted career on a team in 5th Special Forces Group. And I was assigned as a medic on the team and fell in love with medicine. So I got out. I joined the National Guard here in Minnesota, went back into medical school, and then spent the next 20 years of my career taking care of primarily Special Forces guys and their families, but full spectrum family medicine. I've delivered thousands of babies and and all that stuff too. So, but yeah, that's sort of me in a nutshell. But how we got to Magnus, after 2 decades of war, it had literally taken its toll on our special forces operators and their families. These guys were on the tip of the spear from 9/11 on. Several of my buddies are horse soldiers, the first guys into Afghanistan. And I had some of my guys were on their 10th deployment, teenage kids, and you can do the math. I mean, that pretty much means that dad was gone for most of their career. And I had guys that had horrible PTSD, families that were on the verge of imploding. And then the Special Operations Command, or SOCOM, implemented something called the Preservation of the Force and Family, which is essentially a comprehensive approach to performance, basically restoring the mind, body, heart, and spirit of our operators to keep them on the front lines while addressing their families as well. And I saw it work. As my last job, I was a group surgeon for 5th Special Forces Group, which is the group responsible for the Middle East. So we were going pretty strong. And I saw guys with horrible PTSD get better again. We redeployed some of them. I saw families come back together again that were on the verge of imploding. And I saw guys and gals who were horribly injured or ill come back into the fight based on that comprehensive approach to mind, body, heart, and spirit. So the bottom line is I saw it work. I knew I wanted to do something with it. And then I'll jump forward several episodes. And my aunt and my uncle donated a 37-acre estate in Dayton, Minnesota, so that we could stand up exactly what we were doing in 5th Group. So right now, the Magnus Veterans Foundation provides the same level of care that previously was only available to special forces and their families here in Minnesota. So Minnesota vets and their families are the first to receive this in the world outside of that population.
Now that's the tip of the spear right there. I mean, you've just described the tip of the spear. You mentioned it earlier. That's the tip of the spear. And the coolest thing is, and I don't want to jump ahead, if it's a song Kim's going to do, it asks a question that you're answering. And this is why this is beautiful. I love this.
Awesome. Well, I want to hear it.
I can't tell you how many times we put this together and just by chance, there's a connection through the conversation. And it gives me goosebumps. It makes me tingle all over, and it'll be amazing. But so back to why I've got Fozzie Bear and baby guy. That's why do I got those in here?
Yeah, because you reminded me of Fozzie Bear and Animal. I think if they would have had a kiddo, right? That's you, man.
That's my call name. Animal, right there.
Yeah. So
I'm not going with the Fozzie Bear one. We'll go with the Animal one.
I'm putting Fozzie Bear. I'm going to fix you up.
He's got a little animal too.
He's been named. It sticks. I love it.
Well, I see so many guitars there. I can only assume Mark plays the drums. So that was Animal's instrument of choice. So, but my uncle created Sesame Street Live, which is kind of awesome and bizarre at the same time. And if you ever go to Magnus, one for you guys and all your viewers, if you go to the Magnus website or social media, there's an email on there that's contact@magnusveteransfoundation.org. That goes to me, and I'll give you guys a tour anytime. So you can go literally see the house that Sesame Street built. And so we've got lots of great stuff from my uncle there who passed away in 2016. He was an Air Force vet. But you can see the original artwork that he took to Jim Henson to get the license and all that stuff. But so he created Sesame Street Live, and that's where he made his living. That's what built that 37-acre estate out in Dayton. And we've got lots of stuff that connect our past to our future there. So kids are definitely welcome. Unfortunately, I've already handed out all the swag that I had left over, but they can still see the cool pictures and stuff around there of Elmo and all that.
That's really cool. And I had the chance to visit the property, and one of the, I think they call it a stithograph. Is that correct? The original drawing of the
right. Yeah.
They have put, and it's a unique conversation to have. Literally, when you think Sesame Street has a role in real honesty, saving people's lives.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, but you can think back when we were kids, right? Sesame Street put us in a place in our hearts, in our spirit, in our lives that just centered us, and so I think it's appropriate that we are connecting to that. And you know, if you ever would have met my uncle, I mean, he was just a down to earth, great man. You know, grew up, you know, out in Montana, riding horses and stuff like that. And every interview he gave, even though he made, you know, so much of himself and made a lot of money, they asked him to describe himself, and he would describe himself as a farm boy from Dayton. And you know, that's how he carried himself. So, and I you know, the campus. So obviously, it was a family home. Lots of Christmases and Thanksgivings and get-togethers there. And when you come onto that campus, not only can you feel other veterans' energy there, but you can feel that family love and energy there. And that's, I've had so many. And Mark, you were there. You saw it, and you know that feeling you get when you drive on there. It's just like, oh man, this is something special.
So, and this is going to be a terrible reference, but maybe if you remember back in the day when they pan over the Hewing residence and down in Dallas, it's this, you hear this song literally when you pull on his beautiful lake out back, greeneries, and you know, I'm not smart enough to tell you how people with the green thumb take care of stuff, but or what you even call it. They're flowers, but there's probably more. It's all crafted. It's absolutely beautiful. And there's a gigantic sense of peace there. And meeting Shawn's staff, you walk in, they're eager to know who you are and what you are and why you're there. And I know that they would welcome anyone who just came out to look at and check out the facilities and see options. And again, this is why we do. This is why the People's Patriot Project invites other organizations onto this platform to make sure that veterans. We have some comments today, and I've got Andrea working on some things right now. We've got some comments today, and I'm not going to call anyone out, but there's people that need help. And one of the things that was frustrated for me in our world before we started was hearing veterans that didn't know what direction to go. I mean, there was only suicide hotline and those that we won't mention. And what are you doing? That is what we make the statement. What are you doing? And our veterans and first responders don't necessarily know what door to knock on to get the help they need. So we need to have this menu. We need to have this overarching dome, graphene dome, that they can find that security in. And we're working on this piece where there's a visual that shows them. You're only slipping through the cracks because you want to slip through the cracks at this point. I'm going to tell you that right now, but this is how we find the pieces to get you. If you are in that place, reach out to me. Reach out to Shawn. You can reach out to any of my staff. We will find you the tools that you need. It's in our network. We have it. We have 180 on the ground, boots on the ground organizations across the country that are helping veterans and first responders. And I won't say, hey, call this number or here's an email I will call the person that is going to have the tools to get you to the next spot. And Shawn is one of these people. If it was a Minnesota thing and I know that Shawn has resources out of state as well. And we're just working to put all these pieces together so everyone understands you're slipping through the crack because you want to slip through the crack at this point.
I agree, Mark, and or excuse me, Fozzie Bear. They've updated your
yeah.
Love it. But you know, even if you're not close to crisis right now, it's keeping this information in your mental Rolodex. So when you come across somebody, you can offer this up because we have been all over the news, all over social media, but the number one reason that a veteran walks through our door is because another veteran has told them about it and vouched for us. And that makes sense, right? We're a skeptical lot, right? We don't trust things. And I think that's maybe one of the VA's struggles right now is that people just don't trust it. But if you have another vet that vouches and validates that program, that is where it works. And we've had several guys and gals walk through our door in crisis, not necessarily pre-crisis with it, because that's where we want to get them, right? Because crisis, we're a day late, dollar short, who've walked in, and I've seen incredible results. And I'll tell you that we've had folks walk through that door, and Mark, I don't remember if you were one of them, but not to bust you out, but when you walk through that front door and you look out that bay window across the property and it hits you, my God, this is true. Somebody donated a $4 million estate for me and my family. And I've had guys bigger than me and Mark break down crying right there. And that's cool. That's good. Because the person who's sitting on the other side of that desk when you walk in is a volunteer. They're not being paid to be there. They're there to be there because they want to be there. And once you become a member, you walk in and they're like, hey, A-Bomb, Fozzie Bear, Dan, Kim, great to see you. Grab a cup of coffee. Go sit in our waiting room, aka our grand waiting room, which actually is more like a very awesome living room with a fireplace. And the doc will be out to see you soon. That and the community. So we have 115 volunteers right now, which is insane. But that's who upkeeps the property. That's the people you see when you walk in the door. So no, you feel that when you walk in there, and then that energy and the people there wanting to help you.
No, Shawn, you have so many volunteers. Are you having people that are coming there that are having such great success turning around and then volunteering and mentoring as well?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I mean, you guys know this, I'm sure. Service to others is therapeutic, right? I mean, 100%. my daytime job is with Fairview. I'm 100% volunteer with Magnus. I don't take a nickel from them. I donate to them because I get so much back in return. It's my therapy. You know, when I'm able to take care of vets and families, you know, that lifts me up, refills my cup. And so, yeah, and if anybody's looking for some great volunteer opportunities, it's all on our website. You can sign up for whatever you want. I can tell you landscaping stuff tends to be the most popular. We've got entire families that show up and you know, weed for a day and that kind of stuff. But if you do sign up, you'll get a call from our extraordinary volunteer coordinator. Her name is Nancy. She also happens to be my mom. So she'll take good care of you.
What's her
and
call
that's
name?
the MagnusVeteransFoundation.org. And if you haven't been to that website, just look at that homepage photo, folks. It's a slice of heaven, and it looks like home. It looks like home, and and I can't imagine what it would feel like, but it would be home, I would assume.
Yeah, and maybe that's it. Maybe that's the feel that you get when you come there. So we take veterans across all spectrums. The majority, probably about 40% of our members right now, and we call them members because it's way more than a patient experience. I guess I should explain that. So we have doctors, nurses, physical therapists, strength coaches, psychologists, chaplains, all that stuff in one spot. It's basically a one-stop shop for all things health and performance. But yeah, everything you need is right there. And if we don't have it, you know, we're going to reach out. We do have the connections. And Mark, I appreciate the fact that you brought up, it's not a one size fits all for everybody. It's individualized. So when you call us and you have an issue, we're gonna help you out. We're gonna direct you in that right way, just like People's Patriot Project's doing.
Love it. I love it. I love it.
Real quick call outs. Brian Gibson from Forward Operating Base Rush. Tammy Schroeder, who was an absolute rock star this weekend, helping and volunteering up at the WeP3 Fest. Timothy Allen Franklin, FWM Designs, working on some amazing pieces. I'm pretty sure, Shawn, you'll hear from him here soon as well. He's got some things he's working on and wants to to help out in all and every way. Beth Borkland, nice to see you. Andre Noble Eichmann, good to see you here.
A-bomb.
Bourbon Battle Buddies and A-bomb.
And we got
And,
Jeremy Daniels. And
Yeah.
I thought I saw Bobby Krutzinger somewhere too. But maybe he texted me and I got it confused. But Bobby, hey.
That's possible.
We love Bobby.
Let's do a little segue and don't go away anywhere, Shawn. I mean, you can go off screen if you need to. You said you're gonna crack a beverage. Sorry, during this.
I don't know what you're talking about, Mark. Why would you bust me out like that?
Everyone needs a soda pop now and then. You know, some of us drink our healthy H2O and are just good enough with that. I don't know. If you need to go get another one, you go do that. But I know we're going to bring Kim on. We'll have a quick discussion with her so you won't miss her song. And Kim, you are an absolute blessing, and I was confident that angels had come to earth at one point last night while you were singing, and thank you for what you do. Again, echoing Shawn's thank you as being you are a frontline battle person. You are doing amazing things at the VA, and just and I know you do other things as well because you've been telling me about them. And not that you're overindulging, and not that it's about you. It's just, here's the thing: if we don't hear the story and don't know what's going on, then we just don't know all the awesomeness that's going on out there. So I thank you for sharing those things with us, and thank you for sharing your musical talent with us.
Thank you for having me on. And I was like overwhelmed by everything this weekend, but just to see that people actually listen and to have those veterans there, and to see Andy there, that's he's a Korean vet, never leaves the house. He's 80.
What a beast. What a beast. He came over and I was talking to him for a while, and I'm just like, I am in the midst of awesomeness, legend, legacy. I mean, it was just amazing.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. And then we even had the button man there that I met. That is another guy that I knew was having some problems because he had texted me. And Dan, good-heartedly, I texted him. I said, hey, are you going to have any vendors there? Well, I wasn't planning on it. And I told him about Bruce. And then Dan had him out. And this morning I got a text from Bruce. And he goes, Kim, you're an angel. He goes, honestly, he said, this was about it for me. Because he said after last weekend and losing everything, he goes, I needed something just to uplift me. He's a Vietnam veteran. And I said, you don't have to thank me, Bruce. You got to thank Dan, because Dan and Andrew are the ones that let you come out there and be the only vendor. And he said, you have no idea how much I made to pay my bills this month.
So I want to stop for a second. I actually had it in the notes for something later, but this is the perfect time. And I don't want to delineate from you, but I want to hear that story. And I don't care if you say it, Kim, or Dan says it. You kind of paraphrased it, but there's some truth that happened. And this is what the amazingness of coming together as family, what this does. And so, Dan, do you want to take it? Because we kind of pre-showed it. So,
well, I will tell you, we pre-showed it a little bit, but I wasn't part of the conversation. It was with my wife, and so it's hearsay to me, but Kim was there, and I hadn't planned on having vendors, but it's a great idea. And she kind of told me a story about Bruce, and I'm like, well, bring him out. And I felt bad because Bruce showed up in an RV, and I'm parking him where we're parking RVs. And then he started talking about Kim. I'm like, oh, you're Bruce the button guy. Get your butt over there by the vendor. You know? So what a terrific guy, and what an art he's got. But he did share a story a little bit about he was having a tough time. He had lost a lot of things. I believe it was because of a storm. Mm-hmm. And he was having a terrible time with it, to the point where it was a crisis, and it was an honor to have him here. What a great guy. And he was this guy's full of energy. He made me tired. I'm full of energy. Kim's full of energy. This guy was full of spirit and energy, and he had a terrific time. And I said, how'd your day go? He goes, it was amazing. It was absolutely amazing. And that's what we're all about. And if it wasn't for Kim, I wouldn't even have met this guy.
No, he had a phrase that he said, because the gals in the t-shirt tent and the greenie tent sat next to him, and we didn't know where he was going. And so he was changing shirts, and he's like, I can't just tell you guys how much I feel about you. I'm going to show you. And he like whipped his shirt off, and we're like, where's this going? Like, what is this? How much do you love us? Put your shirt back on. So he gave himself like a bear hug, but then he put on his Patriot Project t-shirt. That's how much he loved us. He was putting on his t-shirt, but he was awesome. And I should have brought my buttons are in the car. I went to buy a button, and then it was cheaper to buy 2. And then it was way cheaper to buy 4. And he had worked so hard to refill his stock after that storm. I was like, well, I don't want to buy all of them. Like, maybe you can just set them aside. And if they're left, because what if someone else wants them at the end? But he's super excited already to come next year. We just have to tell him the day, and he's in. So chop, guys. You can do that.
And I mean, paraphrasing again, a case where literally a man was on his ruins and the family came together. Didn't even know the story. He's just a vendor. He's a button guy, man. It's not just a button guy. He's a veteran. And the family came together, and he's able to get through this next step. His load was lightened because of the event, and just sends chills down my.
All about
I didn't even ask him if I could share some of the texts that I was getting from him, because he was pretty down. And he sent me pictures of everything he lost. And he goes, Kim, I'm going to have to leave. I don't know what to do anymore. And then when I sent it over to Dan, because I didn't want to, I'm not going to expose too much, because I don't know if it's okay with Bruce. And you guys, he has a lot of health issues. He has repercussions of Agent Orange. But when I told him this, and I said, you have to calm down now, because he got really, So then my phone starts pinging at 3 a.m. because none of you guys sleep. But anyhow, it starts pinging, and I said, Bruce, you gotta relax. And I promise you, irregardless, this is going to lift your spirits up. I don't know what will happen. I don't know if you'll make money, if you won't make money, but I just have a really good feeling that this is going to help you. And you guys, man, he gave me the biggest bear hug. He gave me a bigger bear hug than you gave Lane. So he was pretty excited.
Kim, I need you to stop being so nice, perfect, and because I'm worried Shawn might try to steal you over to what they're doing.
I'm listening to him, and I'm like, where are you at? Because this is what I
think about the beautiful view, Kim. Beautiful view every day.
Yeah.
Hey, Kim, where did you meet Bruce at?
At the VA. He was selling buttons.
That is incredible. And does he live local here? I mean, does he live in Minnesota?
Yep, he lives in Minnesota. And I could have brought out jewelers too that are this guy is a Korean veteran also that comes with his wife. And I don't know, this lady, like, I had lost my mom, so butterflies mean a lot to me. She did not know this, but anytime I see vendors in the VA, I always go in there and I spend money, because for me, I'm seeing them set up, and this is how they're making a living. So like with Bruce, I have so many buttons from him that I won't even wear, but I wanted to, like, literally.
You got to bring back the 80s jean jacket. That's why.
That's right. It's a Ferris wheel.
And once in a while,
Style's a Ferris wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
Hey, direct him to us, okay? Let him know to kind of Magnus. One, we can offset his medical bills, but we've got vending opportunities for him as well.
Oh man, he'll go, because I told him, I said, this is the beginning of something for you. Well, then it was so cute. And he goes, I know how much you love Jesus. And I got this. And he even took a picture of this daily devotions that he just got. Mm-hmm. And I said, Bruce, I go, you just can't get in your head. I said, remember we talked about the scratch in the record? And he's like, yep. What did we say about that? And I said, sometimes when we start doubting ourselves, it's like, we're both old enough. We had albums. So that if you get a scratch in an album, it's going to keep replaying that same song. So let's buff out your scratch and let's move to the next song. You're going to come out to dance and good things are going to happen. And I have not seen him smile like that in a long time, because I do see him. And I was worried about him, and I'm not going to lie to any of you.
This is awesome. And again, this was meant to happen this way tonight, because I know that is the conversation Shawn wants to now have is, what do we do to get him here to Magnus when we do their event? And I go, we'll do the announcement to your event coming up here in a minute here, Shawn. I want to get to Kim's song.
Oh God, I can't wait.
Well, and this is all true what happened. And the guy that I wrote it for this morning, you guys, he goes, how did it go, Kim? And I go, you are going to make the biggest difference. He goes, no, you are. I said, no, because these were all your words. All I did was put it into a song for you. And he goes, no, you were my little brunette that came in here. And he goes, and you're helping me to have a reason to live. And then he said I was an angel. And I already told him, I said, no, actually, I'm an angel that has some tainted wings, but that's fine if he wants to call me that. But I told him how well received it was. But I also told him what it's doing for people that are hearing it. I'm getting so many different people that, especially Vietnam veterans, that have been sending me their feelings and saying, darling, put this into a song for me. And when I played his song, every veteran I've ever played it for that has asked me to play, because they hear about it, they'll say, it's exactly how we feel. That's all of us. And I think also having people come up to me and say, I never knew this is a population I never knew that was going on. This is what was wrong with my dad. I didn't know. I just didn't know, so there's a lot of guilt, I think, with people that'll work through of maybe some of the issues. Somebody that did serve in Vietnam, even like my cousin's husband that just passed away, just different characteristics that nobody broke through, like what you guys are doing right now, that makes them to start to talk. And like I've always said to a lot of younger nurses, I'm 55 years old. And I said, I'll tell you right now, you can learn the skills in nursing, but 80% is communication. If you can't communicate with the patient, and you can't sincerely look them and genuinely look them in the heart and show them how much you care, and that you, like you said, Shawn, it's mental, it's spirit, it's all those things. And if you can't bring that to the table for them, they're not going to talk. Because a lot of times I get called out and say, can you just come and talk? Can you come and talk to this person? Because we can't work with them. But
so Kim, you found a way to communicate through your music, though. I mean, your music is the one communicating. And this song that you wrote for this person, I said earlier, I told Shawn, I go, there's a question that's asked in the song, and the Magnus Veterans Foundation is answering that, and that's a beautiful connection. I want.
By the way, he called me at 11 o'clock because I for a long time tried to get him to talk, and the more he trusted me, then one night, it's 11 o'clock at night, I had to get up at 5 the next morning, and I was like, no way am I going to hang this phone up. And I stayed on with him, and he started to talk. And then he goes, I'm going to send you what my mask meant, and I'm going to send you what I'm feeling inside. And I stayed up till 2 a.m. and wrote this song. And it's called Will This Pain Ever Go Away? Do you guys want me to play it now?
Yes, please.
Okay. Can't wait.
It was late when the phone rang. On the other end, I heard crying. A childhood friend, dear to me, filled with pain of haunting memories. Searching for closure from his past, a boy to a man, he grew up fast, enlisted to fight for his country, not knowing he'd live it daily. He was a soldier needing to be heard as I listened to him say these words. He asked me, will this pain ever go away? I don't want to hurt day after day, reliving dreams of here and now. Soldier of war, forgotten somehow. Just tell me, will this pain ever go away? This mask I wear day after day, hiding guilt I weep deep inside, unable to speak. Oh God, how I tried. Please tell me, will this pain ever go away? Searching for words, what do I say? He beat all the odds, now feels betrayed. A hero survivor came with the cost. Feels alone in his thoughts, he is lost. In prison with pain, he never free. He dreams of friends dying tragically, wanting answers for the battles he fought. Plague stands for freedom, that's what he was taught. He was a soldier needing to be heard. As I listened to him say these words, he asked me, will this pain ever go away? I don't want to hurt day after day, reliving dreams here and now. A soldier of war, forgotten somehow. Just tell me, will this pain ever go away? This mask I wear day after day, hiding guilt I keep deep inside, unable to speak. Oh God, how I've tried. Please tell me, will this pain ever go away? He was a soldier who needed to be heard.
I love it.
That was
I love
absolutely incredible, Kim. Thank you so much. Kim,
What does that do for you, Kim, playing that? You know, it's emotional.
Kim, that's on the level of Sam Stone from John Prine. Same level. That was awesome.
It's his words. I was just the mediator.
We always.
I just see a man that went over and, like he said, I'm sorry, went into a 19-year-old, 20-year-old boy going into a jungle, coming out. He said, and my cousin told me the same thing. They'd all come out orange. They'd want to take a shower, and they were told it would never hurt them. And now I see a man that is paralyzed, has half his body gone, has a colostomy bag, a suprapubic catheter, and is the most positive person I've ever met in my life, along with all of them. And I'm not kidding. And I think for me right now, for them to trust me and coming in and having a volunteer that was a Vietnam veteran say, he always goes, Kim, every time I come in. I love the volunteers. They're all, I love them. And I came in and he sobbed when he heard this song, and so did another Vietnam veteran that they wanted to hear it because they know this gentleman too. And I came in that morning and he goes like this, and I go, what's that? And he goes, it might sound like just a bunch of jumble, like it's not going to make sense. But honey, if you can do this to help other people, do some more of that music for us, okay? And then he goes, you know, you're one of us. And I go, I'm one of you. And he goes, salute the nurses. He goes, those girls went through everything with us, those men and those women that were out there with us. And he goes, and Kim, you're with us here right now. So you know what an honor that is? it's pretty surreal.
Well, I tell you what, I can see things you can't in our comments that people make while you're playing your song, and I wish you could, because there are people directing comments at you saying how fortunate veterans are to have a kind soul like yourself, and how beautiful that song is, and the difference that it makes. And you're describing not just one person, but I watched you, Kim. I watched you go around, people come up to you last night and say thank you so much for that. And I watched our heroes, our Korean War vet. We had another individual here last night that I don't know if you knew about. His wife came up and said, I haven't seen him so happy in so long. That's why we do what we do. And you're such a huge link in this chain, and I'm just a small link, and it's just without each other, there's no chain.
Do you remember what I said last night, though? Where about this one lady came up to me and she goes, who is the saint? I want to write down what you said. And it was right before I did the song. And I said, the one thing that this gentleman told me, and I've really started to pay attention. I want to see if you know this, Shawn. And I said, why haven't more of you talked? I asked quite a few of these veterans, like, why don't you tell the story to more people? And they went like this. And I said, what do you mean? He goes, we only want to be heard for a few minutes. But a lot of times when we come in, people do this and they look at their watch.
Yeah.
And he says, and we know right then and there, they're not listening. So why do we want to even tell them? And he goes, and he said, you wear that? But he goes, you never say anything. You never look at it. And after that, I took my watch off. And I'm like, I'm never wearing a watch again. And I'm thankful that I didn't do that, but it's a habit, you guys. We all do that. And then this lady came up to me and she was crying and she goes, what did you say about that? I said, oh, St. Teresa of Calcutta. I said, well, first of all, she says our own Calcutta is right here. Mm-hmm. And I said, second of all, we will have no peace if we don't. We have no peace if we don't belong to one another. So if we don't figure out that we belong to each other, we are all in this together. Like you said, it takes a tribe to build a village. Then when are you ever going to find peace for these guys? Because they're out there on their own. And believe me, just like you, Shawn, I see a lot of them. Mm-hmm. And music heals. That, like he said to me, you put it all in a song for me, and this is the happiest I've been in my life. And here's a guy
kind of like a Band-Aid, huh, Kim?
Took it off, and I think it's just like lightening up. His little wound isn't festering as bad.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll stick to medicine, Kim. I'll let you do the music because I was a triangle guy. So that's all I was allowed to play, but that was beautiful. So I'll be the science side. You be the art side.
Okay, that sounds like a plan. I don't know how I became a nurse because I was not good in math. I said anybody can become a nurse if I can.
No, you're right. Anybody can become a doctor or a nurse, but it takes somebody special to become an extraordinary nurse or an extraordinary doctor. So.
Excellent point.
Yeah, my wife's a nurse and she's a veteran as well, and I see her in your eyes, and when you carry those patients with you for the rest of your life, like I know you do, I know you have many faces and souls in your rucksack there, and that's good because believe it or not, or know it or not, you lifted that weight from them for whatever duration they needed it.
Well, and
I just want to share something about Kim. This is where it all started right here, and Kim knows exactly what this is. This is a Band-Aid, and that's where the journey with Miss Pitcher and I started. I was getting a flu shot, and we started talking about music, and it just blossomed from there. So it's beautiful, and I keep it. She's laughing because I said I didn't use it. I mean, it's not like it used.
I cried because I said you took a picture of it and it's been a year, and I'm like, you kept the Band-Aid? Because that's Shawn, we're not supposed to do that.
That is a little weird.
It was weird.
Well, I'm a little weird.
We were talking and he was telling me what his mission was, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I go, well, I write, and then it was just like, I don't know, that flu shot took a half hour. You could have had a colonoscopy for what you got with the flu shot.
Or a vasectomy. I'll do that.
There you go.
I'll prefer the flu shot medical types. The flu shot was plenty that day. Thank you.
Code name Band-Aid. the part that and I don't think this is going to pass by anybody, and Kim didn't come on here to have us fill her full of accolades, but look at the mission this woman is on. It's full life, it's full circle, it's investment, she does it as a job, and it's more than just a job for her, and I can see that. And now she's presented in her. Kim, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. It needs to be recognized. It's service, and thank you for your service. What an amazing again show opportunity. What's new? What's next for Shawn Alderman?
More the same. Hopefully, continue to work for Fairview and then grow Magnus, and we are growing fast right now. So we opened our doors June 1st of last year, and we are up to 125 patients right now. We're growing to 500 members again, because remember, you get access to so much more. And 500 this year, 1,000 next year, 5,000 total. So that's primarily why I'm here. Tell every veteran you know about us. Kim, we do not compete with the VA. We augment what the VA does. Because I personally believe, and man, my hat's off to you guys at the People's Patriot Project, because the answer is not coming from above. You know, reinforcements aren't coming. It's us. This has to be a grassroots, bottom up thing. And that's where, you know, we get into the tribe and community and everything there. And we're proving that concept right now. 95+% of our donations come within a 50-mile radius. You know, we're on track. So I don't know the exact amount, but we have enough donations right now to take care of at least 500 patients or 500 members.
That's amazing. Wow. That's amazing.
And ideally, I'd love to see that get to the point where we had $50 a month recurring donations, because that way, every time we increase, I can bring on more folks. But for $50 a month, that sponsors all those resources for that veteran or family member. And I highlight family member because my first combat deployment was Mogadishu in 1993. My last was Syria in 2017, and everything in between. And I guarantee you that, and any other veteran will tell you this, our family serves just as hard as we do. And I got out because after my last deployment, I was only supposed to be gone for 2 weeks. I ended up gone for 4 months. And when I came home, my then eight-year-old son said, "Dad, I want you to get out." And he had earned that right. And I'm so proud of him that he looked me in the eye and he asked me that at the time. And that's what I did. I got out. And our families serve just as hard as we do. And that's why we take care of them as well. You know, I think it's unfortunate that if, you know, after 31 years of service, if I were to die today, my wife gets a check for $250 to bury me. And that's unfortunate. I don't know how to fix that, but I know you guys have the ingredients to start to make that happen. It has to start from down below. We have to propagate that up and continue to build the network. Yeah. Your network's way bigger than ours, guys. And we're just so happy to be a small part of that. Anything that we can do to take care of your members, your clients, or anything like that, that's where we kind of see ourselves as the primary care providers for veterans and their families. We're going to be the advocates. We're going to be the ones that know what they went through. Rapport building, or that initial, you know, gaining trust period, it's easy for us because vets come in, they see it in our eyes, we see it in their eyes, and it's immediate. And we're able to take them to that next level. So please pass it on to any veteran you know. I am most passionate about growing our membership. And it's super easy. All you got to do is go online, you sign up, and then you get a call from our nurse. She brings you in, does the initial welcome visit. It lasts for an hour. So you're not going to come see a provider at our place and get 15 minutes. That's not going to happen. You're going to come and stay until we're confident that you got what you need.
You are such a blessing, Shawn. And
wow. Where are you located?
We are in Dayton. Where are you, Kim?
I'm in Moorhead, Minnesota, so I'm
So I enlisted in '88. So I've been gone a long time. Where is Moorhead?
Well, I'm originally from Lancaster, Minnesota, which is 10 miles from the Canadian border. My grandpa was a World War I veteran, and he laughs because I keep saying about the Polish, but that's how me and Blind Joe bonded, is because he's Polish and he's German, so we bonded. Anyway, yeah, it's way up. I moved here 7 years ago.
Okay. Hey, our goal is to prove our concept right here in Dayton, and we're doing that, and then take this across the state, across the nation, because we're convinced, and I'm not making this up. I saw this work. This has worked across active duty. It's working right now for veterans. We proved this concept. We take it across the state. We take it across the nation as the way to take care of veterans and their families. Not as the end all be all. I'll never be able to replace a hip. That's what we need the VA for. Yep. But what we need to do is go back to World War II, back to pre-VA, and start looking at, okay, what did we do then? You know what it was? It was our tribe. It was our neighborhood. It was our communities that took care of our veterans and their families. And you know what? We did pretty darn well then. And we were way more efficient than we are now. Yep. So imagine $50 a month. All of us pay way more than that for our health insurance right now. Now imagine getting that plus access to all those other resources I said, and access to the property. Our property is 100% free to our members. So we've had weddings, we've had anniversaries, we've had retirement ceremonies there. We've got a 1874 barn, and it turns out that Andrea and Kim, for whatever reason, women like to get married in barns nowadays. I don't know what it is. There's bats in there, but yeah, it's free. And not only that, and Andrea, I sent you a message too. It's free to any other veteran nonprofit out there. If you guys want to host an event, or recognize your volunteers, do a getaway, call me. I mean, it's 100% free. So Project Got Your Back and 23V is they're running the Nearly Naked Ruck, which at first I thought was going to mean Speedos and a light coat of oil, but it's not. So you're not nearly naked.
We actually did that expecting the same
been on
thing.
that, yeah.
Right. Our first one, we're like, it's 17 degrees. There's no naked happening.
No. So basically, it just means you're not wearing all your army military kit, right? You get to wear shorts and tennis shoes, which is glorious.
Yeah.
But there are some people.
What's that?
There are some people that test it. I saw.
Yeah.
In reality, we saw kind of a lot of butt cheeks.
Yeah, I'm 52.
What would happen?
I'm not about that anymore. Maybe back when I
They
was
would
22,
invite me to this. Mark and Andy would invite me to this and not give me the lowdown.
This is why.
And I would be that guy.
I'll tell you what, if you guys do it, I'll do it. That's
fair.
Yeah.
Boy.
But they're using our property for free as an after party. So they're having a big event there. And I invite you guys at the People's Patriot Project, if you want to host an event there or whatever, come out and see it, and it's yours. Free of charge.
If we go, I'm not coming back. No, I'm kidding.
Hey, you're not going to go way back up in the sticks.
You know,
we're not way down in the city, by the way, Kim.
John probably won't let you go back. So
right.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So Shawn, she's near Fargo. You know where Fargo is.
Yeah. Okay.
Fargo and Moorhead are sister cities.
All right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's
that
only
could
an
be
hour and a half away.
No.
Yeah, it's a quick trip down Highway 10, right to Dayton. It's not a
not.
bad trip. It's right there.
Well, I
it
think
wasn't fun today.
Andrew, you're a slow driver, aren't you?
wasn't fun today.
Yes, speed limit, pretty much.
All right, it's a 2-hour drive.
Shawn, you probably don't need this or aware of this, but I mean, I want to thank you for listening to your son and asking when he asked you. And that is also the platform that we really push really hard, is the family piece, the connection piece, only because spouses, moms and dads, children, they didn't sign up. They weren't the ones that signed the line. But they've always been there in most cases. And we know that there's the dark cases as well, but those families fight to help support their loved ones.
Yeah.
And and sometimes that transition back to, I mean, it's different than World War I and II and even Vietnam, and the fact that you went from theater to home, and that might take 5-6 weeks, maybe 2 months. Now some of our soldiers are going from theater to home in 2 days.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's even more apparent for our Guard brothers and sisters, right? Our Reserve brothers and sisters. And I get this question all the time. Had you deployed to combat to become a member? Absolutely not. The fact of the matter is if you wore the uniform, you would have gone. Had the balloon gone up, you would have gone. So all of our Guard and Reserves brothers and sisters out there, Magnus is for you. It has nothing to do. I'm not asking anybody to match my career or anything like that. We are here to support people who served us. That's what we do.
Awesome.
And I know you guys had mentioned, and I just want to, when I sang Only a Rainbow Away for people that have lost veterans and first responders, but I know that you guys said everybody should know, but I'll be really honest with you. When you come to the Vietnam veterans, they don't know how to get service connected.
Right.
I mean, and I'm sure you know, Shawn, that I've taken care of people that come in end stage lymphoma and aren't service connected. Right. And I personally can share this because my cousin, her husband, all the repercussions of Agent Orange. He was on dialysis. He had diabetes. He had heart disease. All the things that you can imagine, was not service connected. 4 months before he died, he became service connected, and he died in the VA, which she would be fine with me saying this. And she called me and she was crying, and she called me this morning, but right when he passed, she goes, Kimmy, he's gone. Because he'd never worn a Vietnam veteran hat. So at Christmas time, I went down and I saw this hat, and I thought, gosh, should I buy it from him? It's like, it was my first cousin's husband, but still, it's like, wonder if he'd want this. He just got service connected. So I went in and I thought, nope, it's down there the second time. I went down, I bought it. And me and Becky went to church, came home, and I said, I got Danny a Christmas present. She goes, you got my husband a Christmas present? I go, no, that seems weird, but I think he maybe will want it. I don't know. She goes, well, come on in. And I took it out, and he had his CPAP on, and he woke up, and I said, Danny, I go, I bought you something for Christmas. He goes, why? Because I go, I think you want this. And I gave him, it was a Vietnam veteran. And he started crying. He said, I wanted one of these all my life, but I was afraid to wear it. And he goes, Kimmy, thank you. And then I ran into him every time I'd run into him at the VA. It was just odd, you guys. And he'd have that hat on. Well, anyway, he got the salute because the honor guard walked him out when he passed away, and they brought him out of the VA. And I told Becky he had the honor he deserved when he came home, but he didn't get it.
And Kim, I know you guys are going to wrap up here, but real quick, I've had this conversation with so many veterans out there. They feel that they weren't blown up or injured as bad as somebody else, so therefore they're not going out and getting those benefits that they deserve. And here's the deal, and I'm talking to all you veterans out there right now. You earn this. Yep. Congress appropriated this money a long time ago. And we are dying at a rate that is unprecedented at this day if you look at our population. And I guarantee you that if you don't access those resources that are available to you, they'll figure out a reason to use that. So you do not have to have been blown up or shot. Get out there. I write medical opinion letters all the time. We do VES physicals at Magnus. Get out there and do it. If you have any questions, email me.
Totally agree.
For sure.
Gosh, you're something else. Wow. He has a halo,
That's what my mom said.
You do? I think he has white wings.
Everyone's got one of these, and you can do it right now. It's time for your buddy check, and it takes literally 6 seconds to reach out to a brother and sister and say, hey, with you. We ask you to do it by the 6-pack because it takes such a short time. And maybe you can spur up a conversation that you haven't had in a long time and build a relationship. That's what makes the People's Patriot Project successful, is because we build relationships. We are boots on the ground, and we're going to stand with you. To be honest with you, through the amazing times. We don't have to talk about the other times, because when we're standing together as one, and we're standing together in rejoice because we have this amazing network of musicians, influencers, boots on the ground organizations. And we don't have to talk about the other stuff. I mean, it's done, and we're moving forward, and we're making our world a better place. Remember, we're called We the People, the People's Patriot Project. This isn't about veterans supporting veterans. This is about the 90% of the country that hasn't had a chance to serve or didn't take the time to serve, to reach back and say, thank you. We're here for you. And you gave us the rights and the privilege to lay our big fat heads on the pillows of freedom every single day without having a reason to question it. And I'm sorry I'm aggressive and I get a little nasty when I say that, but you take it for granted. You take it for granted. Our police are fighting in a war right now that is unprecedented to any war literally in the world, because they're getting ambushed. No one has faith in it. And I understand why. And I'm not going to get into that debate. You can walk into any facet and you got a good and a bad. Good always outweighs the bad. 600 million first responder calls a year. I get it. There are going to be some friendly fire situations. And I hate saying that, but there's repercussions. We'll get through it. We'll let the pieces work their pieces out. And I believe in that justice system. And I know a lot of people don't believe it anymore, but it is there. And we will work through those pieces. And I'm not here to deliberate those, but reach out, please. 2 amazing organizations here. 3, check 6. Amazing opportunity this last weekend with the amazing event that Dan Hudson and NG Hudson had on their property. Thank you, Dan. Thank you, Andrea, for doing such an amazing job with you're the glue that keeps us together. And every single day I remember that. Tammy Schroeder and Corey Peterson, thank you for the supports you did. And I'm going to tell you what, we had these 2 little buckaroos that worked with us this weekend. We had Breck, a 6th grader, and we had Connor, a 22-year-old, and they did more this weekend than I've seen half of the adults in my life do, because they ran and they ran and they ran and they said, what can I do next? What can I do next? And I'm telling you, man, we're taking care of you. You don't get to say no. We got a little something coming your way. Thank you, everyone in Dan Hudson's network who came out to the event. We did have a 50-50 giveaway. We gave away a nice chunk of change, and they turned around and gave it right back to us. And I want to thank, I'll use a first name only in this matter, because people want to keep the anonymity when they do that kind of stuff. But thank you, Lane, for doing that. And
he's a police officer, everybody.
She blew that out of the water.
Again,
So you don't know his last name. He doesn't have the same last name as me.
I want to say we had roughly 300 people circulate throughout the day, 150 strong at one given moment. And they raised over, just on the 50-50, almost $1,500. So great job, everyone. Those are going to be, it helps do this show. It helps support other organizations. It helps support our recalibration weekends. It helps support so many causes that we're involved with. And we thank you. Remember, the People's Patriot Project is the opportunity to serve. Back to what Shawn was saying, serving is therapeutic, and it's a part of our mission that we believe that is helpful, not only to you, but to those we serve as well. If you've never had the chance to serve, it's a chance to serve. If you're done with your service in life, you're coming out and you're ETSing, and I don't think they call it ETS anymore. What do they call it?
No, I think it is ETS. Yeah.
Is it ETS? If you ETS and you don't have a place and you have talent, treasure, or time, reach out to Shawn, reach out to me, reach out to the 180 organizations we have. We have a place for you. And you know what? I'd rather see sweat equity than cash in my pocket, to be honest with you. And it's not my pocket, but in the bag, in the bank, whatever you want to say. Thank you, everyone. Anything in closing, Shawn?
No, I just wanted to say thank you so much for having me on. You guys have filled my heart listening to you, and I'm so happy to be partnered with you guys and everything that you're doing to grow this from the bottom up, because that's really where the magic happens, I think, when it comes to this.
Anything in closing, Dan?
I just got a couple thank yous if we got a couple of minutes.
Absolutely.
TGM Trucking, which is my brother's trucking company, the Hudson family, that just happens to be my last name. My family has surrounded me on my journey. They fully support what we're doing, and financially they help support what we were able to pull off this weekend, which is awesome. As well as Paisley and Dwight, who brought some horses. We had horse rides going on. It was really cool. And Mike Dorn and Whitney Carlson, who also had the horses out here. Dewey's Septic for donating the porta potties. All right, Dewey's. And Matt Hughes, he runs Bad Boys Trucking. He came up and he said, "Hey, here's just a random donation. Put it towards your event." He came late and it was awesome. David Hudson, I don't even need to say this kid's name, and his son Caleb was here running sound, and he actually got up and played with Kim for a while. And that's so cool. As well as Tammy, you mentioned Tammy Schroeder, Mark, Andrea, and most of all, I would be remiss, Mrs. Hudson, Angie, allowing me to open up her 40-acre farmstead. I tell you what, she lets me do some crazy things sometimes. Look at these guitars hanging on my wall. I can't thank her enough, because she lets me be me, and life is good here at the Hudson Farm. And I was so happy to have one big family here. We're still talking about it, folks. We're still talking about it.
It was a piece of heaven. It really was. It was beautiful.
Thank you.
And they weren't just horses; they were Pertrons.
They were big horses.
Huge.
Yeah, they were.
I just have to say, I was sitting there cooking Holyfield the pig, because he was missing an ear. We were cooking, and all of a sudden, up over the hill come this team of Percherons, and I'm like just in awe. And they're shuttling our guests in and out of the event, and I was just like, "This is heaven. This is heaven."
And I should say Ben Ulrich, because Ben kicked you out of the kitchen, so to speak, Mark. He said, "Go do Mark things. I'm running this big pig smoker." So.
Andrea.
Connor. Did you say Connor? And I don't know his last name. Tell me his last name again.
Connor McCormick.
McCormick. There we go. I know because he signed the card. And who is? Did you say Steve Anderson? Steve Anderson. He doesn't watch Facebook.
Steve. I'll let you talk about Steve.
He doesn't watch Facebook, I'm sure. So this will go right past him. But no, he was Angie's like shadow, helping get ice, helping run things, get things, hold on to things. I mean, yeah, he's a great guy.
That's what this community does. And you saw the best of the best of people just saying, "How can I help?" And when people left, I have to share this with you, Shawn, I couldn't find a piece of trash on this property.
That's awesome, man. I know how precious that is.
Thank you, everyone, for being here. Thank you for all your support. Thank you for being at the show. We will end. Shawn, can you hang out for a little bit?
Yes, sir. I'm just gonna run real quick. I'll be right back.
Perfect. And you know what? Just because I want to, and because it's my world and not my world, I jokingly say that. But we will. I am going to play one of my favorites, and we wish you a blessed week and a blessed. We'll just see you next time. We'll see you at the debrief on Friday, and we'll see you. We got you 6 at 6 Patriot Playtime, and thanks for all that you do, people. Patriot Pride.
Happy birthday, Shannon Book.
CJ Garden. Oh, happy birthday, Shannon Book.
Shannon Book.
Happy birthday, Shannon Book.
Happy birthday.
I did write it on there earlier. I did right on there. But
That's all right.
we got CJ Garden, Ferrisville.
I walked the High Line, I juggled a few times, played sold out shows around. I keep entertaining and never complaining about the circus that is this town. I'm caught on a Ferris wheel, going round and round. Everything that I see just goes up and down. Bright lights are shining, these crowds gather round. Oh, am I the ringmaster or just another clown? I hear the laughter as I'm put on display. I'm another freak in the show. One day the marquee will read my name. Till then, it's a neon glow. I'm caught on the Ferris wheel, going round and round. Everything that I see just goes up and down. Bright lights shining, the crowd gather round. Oh, am I the ringmaster or just another clown? See, just goes up and down. Bright lights are shining, the crowds gather round. Oh, am I the ringmaster or just another clown? Am I the ringmaster or just another clown?
Left, your left, left foot, your left. You got it.
Truck it on.